I make no secret that I'm a Star Wars fan. No, really. I loved The Force Awakens. Maybe because it felt fresh, yet familiar. It eased me back into the Star Wars mindset. I also enjoyed, for the most part, The Last Jedi. Where people complained The Force Awakens was too familiar, The Last Jedi was at least trying to be different. And while it did have some bafflingly bad choices, for the most part, enjoyable. Which brings us to the conclusion of this latest trilogy. I have a bad feeling about this. This is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Kylo Ren is looking for Emperor Palpatine, who, like Jason and Freddy Krueger, was retconned back to life. By the way, Snoke was a remote-controlled clone. Moving on. That one dismissive sentence perfectly represents just how much time is devoted to this. Kylo finds Palpatine. Looking good, my man. You think you were in quarantine a long time. I ran out of toilet paper a long time ago. Kylo Ren, you tracked down the Emperor, inhabiting a dying cloned body. Tell him what he won, Johnny. It's a lifetime supply of Star Destroyers. Push the Star Destroyers and make them come up. The Resistance have a spy within the First Order, who has been giving them intel on Palpatine and the Funky Bunch, basically confirming what we just saw a couple of scenes ago. Tonight, the role of Nucleus will be played by Daisy Ridley. Following Luke's notes, they search for a Wayfinder, a device that points to Palpatine's location for some reason. Only 2 were ever made, and Kylo already has one. Rather than buy a new helmet, Kylo fixes his old one. It's all about the branding, baby. They get to planet Spring Breakia. She says you now have to show your... Remember in The Last Jedi, Kylo and Rey had a mystical force connection that allowed them to converse long distance? Well, now they've cranked it to 11, and they can now transfer physical items. Like these beads Kylo snatches from what I am glad is Rey's neck.
We all know what's going on here.
Right there. I was a stormtrooper till I took an arrow to the eye. We get a speeder chase with flying stormtroopers, so why isn't this more awesome? The weight of the plot drags them down, fall into some quicksand, and find the guy they were tracking, who's dead. Of course they loot his corpse. You find a dagger. At least I get to cut a bitch.
Was passed by the Senate to the Republic.
Then Rey uses a new force power, healing a giant snake. Giggity! Ladies. I don't know, that sounds dirty on so many levels.
Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye, say goodbye.
Already seen it a dozen times by now, so Chewie and the Falcon are captured. Whoops! They take the dead guy's ship and bolt. Get this. The dagger they found has Sith writing on it that tells us where we need to go.
That was the only clue to the Wayfinder thing and it's gone.
But nobody speaks Sith, except C-3PO, whose DRM prevents him from translating. But it's okay, Poe knows a guy. Meanwhile, Chewie is alive. 2 transports, yada yada. They impound the Falcon because it's a collectible. On to planet Ex-Girlfriendia, where a droid hacker starts tinkering with 3PO's head. Giggity, ladies. Poe's ex, played by Kerry Russell's Eyes, helps them out. She never takes off that helmet. Probably just made the sex hotter. To get the information off the dagger, they have to wipe 3PO's memory. So they wipe his memory, and 3PO goes psychotic for a second.
The Emperor's Wayfinder is in the Imperial Vault at Delta 36, transient 936.
It's under the big W! Rey senses Chewie is still alive, and they decide to rescue him.
Of course we came for you, Chewie.
Drop your weapons now! Put your weapons down! Drop them!
I'd like to do this myself.
It's nice when management pitches in.
I'm the spy.
What? You?
Rey and Kylo have a social distancing saber fight, and her location is revealed. I'm still not sure how this works. They get away just as Kylo drops a bomb on Rey.
Why did the Emperor come for me?
You're his granddaughter. You are a Palpatine.
Nuh-uh. Okay, someone had sex with... I'll say this. Power is sexy, and doggy style is a thing. Hey, if Manson had groupies, why not? Get in, loser! We're escaping! Well, it sucks to be Hux.
And we find our spy.
After these messages.
We'll be right back.
Onto yet another planet, they meet some more AWOL stormtroopers just like Finn. Who let Matthew Broderick drive? There's a lot of territory to search with so little time, but the dagger really comes in handy. Seriously? Alright, to me this is the dumbest thing in this movie. Are they gonna look for One-Eyed Willie's treasure while they're at it? Rey takes a boat but loses Wilson on the way. She finds the Wayfinder in the wrecked throne room and meets Gollum. Give her the precious! No, they're worth more as a set! Damn it, Kylo, this is why you can't have a puppy. This leads to a pretty epic saber fight. Breathtaking, isn't it? While all of this is happening, Leia has a Hail Mary. She uses the Force to tap Kylo on the shoulder. What, Mom? This final act results in Leia dying. Not gonna cry. No worries, Dr. Rey is in. This also heals a scar and his foreskin grows back. As a payment, she jacks his ride.
Goodbye, dear princess.
I'm not crying, you're crying. We know, man. Us too. Hi, Dad. You're still not mad, are you?
Kylo Ren is dead.
Kylo renounces the dark side and returns to the light. Sometimes it's an eternal path that consumes your very soul, and sometimes it's easier to quit than a gym membership. We could have used more scenes like this. The Emperor is pissed, so he destroys Alderaan too. And they think Rey's a Mary Sue. The unhappy Palpatine granddaughter exiles herself on Porgtopia, where Luke gives her the old Obi-Wan treatment. Giggity? She could go face the Emperor. Aw, but gee, her ride is currently on fire. Luke gives Rey Leia's lightsaber. She added a vibrate feature, but I don't know why. Like a good neighbor, Skywalker's there. Hearing the theme, seeing the X-Wing rise up, just brought back so many memories. One of the few times I felt like I was actually watching a Star Wars movie. If only there were more moments like this. Rey is off to see the Emperor, and tells the rest of the cast where to meet. Remember when we wiped 3PO's memory and made such a big fucking deal about it? R2 has a backup.
Memory restoration complete.
So much for sacrifice. Rey faces Palpatine, and he wants her body to possess. And he'll become Empress Palpatina. I'm sure he thought that far ahead.
Kill me, and my spirit will pass into you.
While the Resistance fights overhead, Lando goes for help in the Falcon. Kylo arrives and pulls a lightsaber out of his ass. The Knights of Ren go down like every other minion. What was the big deal with them again?
Stand together, die together.
And the Emperor levels up.
The power of two restores the one.
We're at the all is lost moment. Chin up, little rebel. Help is here. And yes, the Empire, First Order, Final Order, whatever, still builds their ships with enormous glass jaws. Oh, I guess he doesn't need Rey's body anymore. This way I get to keep my junk.
So falls the last Skywalker.
Rey gets a Jedi extra life. Rey, honey, it's time to get up.
Rey, where's the beef?
Rey, get your shoes on.
Use the Force,
Oh,
Rey.
hi, Rey.
It's so easy, even a caveman can do it.
Speak to your manager.
Rey, can you hear me now? Rey,
Good.
what's up?
Hey, don't squeeze the
Time to
Charmin.
make the
Ray,
donuts.
Does this make me look fat?
Let's dance, bitch. Okay, lightning bolt. What's cooler than a lightsaber deflecting force lightning? Two lightsabers deflecting force lightning. Why am I still shooting? Why? Ah! I guess that doesn't count as Rey killing the Emperor. Rey dies, Kylo's a fast learner and uses his blood sugar force magic on her. We finally get to kiss someone! Worth it. The thing with Jedi is they can have very inexpensive funerals. Chewie gets a medal and there was much rejoicing. No, Lando, haven't you seen Old Boy? Our contracts are fulfilled. Rey pays her respects to where it all began. She's got her own lightsaber now, and this one is lemon flavored.
Who are you?
Rey Skywalker. You know the Skywalkers owe a lot of money around here. My name is Rey Akbar. That was Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Where do I start? The Last Jedi started a few things that this movie either sidelined or outright ignored. What about anyone being able to use the Force? Finn was Force sensitive, but that was elaborated in the movie novel, and we shouldn't have supplemental reading for a movie plot point. Stop giving us movies with homework. I'm not saying spell everything out, but if you're going to bring something up, address it at some point. The idea of the gray sides of the conflict. Ignored. Rey's parents being nobodies. Retconned. I liked the idea of Rey not being anyone's descendant. Instead of expanding the story, they shrunk the universe down. Why does everyone have to be related to everyone else? Snoke's death? Meaningless. A clone puppet all along, with a mysterious backstory that was discarded. The first 20 minutes feel like JJ was trying to write his own episode 8, leading on to episode 9, which would explain why it felt so bloated and rushed. Kylo Ren still had the most interesting arc. His journey mirrored Vader's from the original trilogy. We meet him already evil, and we watch his redemption. But we could see more conflict, more inner turmoil with Kylo along the way. Now don't get me wrong, nobody will ever outclass Vader as a character. But we really didn't know that much about him, and it took 6 movies to flesh him out. Maybe if they teased the Emperor's return for episode 7, it wouldn't feel so last minute, so thrown together. You know, JJ loves to set things up. The Emperor's resurrection, clone, whatever storyline, needed a body to transfer. Seems lazy and derivative. Not to mention it undermines Anakin's sacrifice. We meet all kinds of new characters. None of them are particularly interesting and are introduced so late in the game. What happened to Rose? Dominic Monaghan, who got more screen time than Rose, got a role because he won a bet with J.J. Abrams. Doesn't that kind of piss you off? The effects? Incredible. On point. Amazing. Some locations are gorgeous and creative. One of the most expensive movies ever made, and it shows. I just wish more was invested in the writing. The writing is where things get iffy. I realized J.J. Abrams is an amazing visual storyteller. Meaning he can compose imagery that gets you fired up, it gets you interested. You see the stuff in the trailer and it gets you pumped to see the movie because you have to know what it is. But it's like eating a lot of candy. You're left with empty calories. He's great at creating moments. Stringing those moments together in a cohesive story that makes sense is something else entirely. Something tore off the Statue of Liberty's head. Presentation aside, it's just a giant monster movie. The Enterprise is underwater. Did it make any sense? No, but it looked great on screen. A chrome stormtrooper. Went out like a bitch. Twice. That said, there are still some spectacular sequences. This blew me away. This gave me chills. This had me cheering. The main problem with this trilogy, they didn't have a singular creative vision behind everything. The original trilogy had different directors, but they still had George Lucas's influence and vision unifying everything. Now we got directors with their own conflicting interpretations, their own ways of doing things, even if they undo or disregard what was laid out previously. The prequels had a goal. The birth of Darth Vader, the death of the Republic. There was an established framework to build on. Instead of starting a new story, a new path, they tried to extend what was already resolved. There's not a lot of time to get bored, but some of the action isn't exactly enthralling. The story somehow feels less epic than it should. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker is 2.5 Bs. It's not awful, but it's not great. It's very middle of the road. It had some awesome moments, but they average out the rest of the movie. It wanted to appeal to fans, create new ones, but Disney also wanted to create a product, and wound up alienating a large portion of the fan base. Quality gave way to quantity. Star Wars should not be mediocre. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment the bell, you know, the usual YouTube stuff. This is theNewBee, and I'll see you later, kids. Toodles! And may the Force be with you. Oh, bring on the hate.